guys, so I am here doing another interview in this awful lighting. Sorry about that. I'm here interviewing my very first birth parent. I'm really excited. This is Jermaine Huell, and I'll be asking him a bunch of questions, and I'm really excited. So Jermaine, thank you so much for agreeing to interview with me. This is such a topic that's close to my heart, and I just love that you're willing to be so open, and I know that what you say will have a great impact on the people who see this. Oh yeah. So the first couple of questions I have are really easy, basic things. So can you tell me who you are, what you do, and how old you are?
Cool. So I am Jermaine Huell. I am 35 years of age. I am a person that's in politics. I run a district office actually for a congressman.
Okay.
So yeah.
Awesome. And can you tell me where you live and where you grew up?
Sure. I live in Far Rockaway, Queens, and I grew up in Far Rockaway, Queens.
All right.
But the interesting thing about that, I haven't been in Far Rockaway, Queens for about 20 years. So it's actually interesting being back in that community.
Coming back, yeah. Cool. So you're a birth parent. Can you tell me how old your child is?
Sure. So my child, her name is Kiana, and she's 12 years old right now, but she'll be 13 this Friday.
Wow. Yeah. That's exciting.
Absolutely, a teenager.
Are you going to go out to see her, or are you?
I will not. She is supposed to come meet me actually in Mississippi, July 4th. So
awesome.
We'll get to see her there.
So can you tell me the story of deciding to give Kiana up for adoption, please?
Absolutely. So I am a United States Marine. I joined the United Marine Corps when I was 18 years of age, and I got stationed in Yuma, Arizona. So I'm in Yuma, Arizona, and a friend of mine introduced me to a girl. I liked her a lot, and she was actually married at the time. I didn't know that, and we broke up. But subsequently, she told me she was pregnant. So she had my daughter, Kiana, and I was 22 years of age, and I was actually at the same time leaving the Marine Corps. So she had the baby, and like maybe 2 weeks later, I moved back to New York City. So I get a call, and about 7 months later, the court system in Yuma, Arizona said, "Look, we need you to do a paternity test. We have a baby in our custody." And me and 3 other individuals, we took a paternity test, and I was 99.9% the father. But there was a caveat at this point. She had been in the custody of the for the county or city for about 2 months, and she was residing with the family already. So I did the paternity test here. I flew out to Arizona. I was scared. I was 22 years old. I didn't have a job, and I didn't think I could be a parent. So she was with this family. The last name is Garcias, and she was amazing. But I felt that I couldn't give her the life that she deserved. So I felt it was best that I signed my rights away, and so that's how it happened that I gave her up for adoption.
So now, did you give her to the state? Like, was she in foster care?
She was in foster care, yes.
And then, so at that time, did you feel that you just wanted to kind of let what was happening happen, or did you look for a family for her? Is she with a family now?
Yeah, she's actually with the family she was with back then.
That foster
care, and they eventually adopted her. And I was just really scared, and I couldn't come to bear with, I have to raise a child.
Totally.
And I can't even raise myself. That's really much what was going on in my head at the time.
And then, so do you have a closed or open adoption?
There's an open adoption, actually. We've maintained a relationship since she was 7 months,
So once you went out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Since I went out there and met her for the first time, and her mannerisms even at 7 months was a lot like mine, and I knew that was my child, but again, I was scared, but we maintained a relationship, and we have a good one.
And so while she was in foster care, what was it like to try to keep in touch with her?
Well, it was easy. The family made it accommodating. However, I wasn't receptive. So actually, even though I had met my daughter, I knew she was my daughter, it took me about 4 years to actually acknowledge that I had a daughter. So I didn't want people asking me, why is she in Arizona? I didn't want people asking me the narrative of the story. I was ashamed. I thought that me giving my daughter up meant that I was worthless and I wasn't good enough and people would judge me. So I just avoided that whole question by saying I don't have a child until maybe she was actually 4.
And so what was the precipitating event for that to happen when you decided, no, I do have a daughter and I'm ready to be part of her life and acknowledge her as my daughter?
Yeah, I went through an experience and it had me look at like the entirety of the situation and the beauty of like the situation. Like, okay, she's with a family that loves her and she like literally, even though she's 4, she loves me.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's nothing wrong. Like what people say about me has no reflection about me.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to have a transformational experience where I actually accepted myself and I loved myself. And I think that was the turning point in me accepting that I had a daughter.
So that's great. So the next question is, how do you identify when you do tell people? Like, when do you tell them? How do you tell them? Stuff like that.
I think that the hardest part is, well, it's not hard, but challenging is when I'm dating a woman, right? So that's one of the conversations I wait to, like I make sure that this is someone I really strongly want to date. And I have the conversation, I tell them, you know, I don't try to cut corners, I really tell them what actually happened.
Yeah.
And I give them the opportunity to have a choice in the matter of dating me or not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why.
And what is that like for you? How does that?
Yeah, it's uncomfortable sometimes because there's a negative connotation to someone that relinquishes their rights to their child.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, not everybody knows all of the situations that and possibilities that you can have with your child. For instance, me and my child's family, we're really close, and she'll tell anybody she has 2 dads.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most magical thing that
Oh yeah.
that you know I could offer her and her other dad can offer her.
Absolutely. So of that identification, I know when we talked one time, you said it was like telling a partner you have an STD,
Right.
Which is just a very difficult thing to go through when you
Yes.
about your child. What would you change about it?
About the relationship?
About the way that you identify, about that
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, I would change how I feel about the situation, right? Like I am okay, but I think that I feel that someone's going to judge me still when I still tell the story.
Do you think that's because you still judge yourself?
I think that I still judge myself, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It's very difficult being a parent from Skype or, you know, my daughter lives literally across the country. So my thing is that the conversation I have is that I can't be a parent. Like I could be a friend.
Mm-hmm.
So I could change the conversation that I am a parent and, you know, I am a friend.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. And a support system.
Absolutely.
So is there anything that you've always wanted to say to her but never felt you had the freedom to do so?
So one part of this equation is that her mother, and my daughter's going to be 13 on Friday. She's never seen a picture. She's never, all she knows is her mother's makeup. She's Mexican and Irish, that's all she knows. And she has diligently asked me details and experiences about her mother. Her adopted family doesn't feel that it's healthy for her to know about her mom. However, her mom actually served 7 years in jail. She did 1 year in Yuma, Arizona, and she did 6 years in Tennessee. She is a person who I actually am now getting to know differently than her past. But I wish my daughter had access to a relationship with her mom. I think that would make a huge difference for her.
Yeah. So, is there anything that I haven't asked that you'd really like to address in this interview?
I think that, again, the connotation that I have of the situation and the circumstances, and they don't always, not knowing the details, people and myself come off with, oh, this is like a negative thing.
Yeah.
However, it can be extremely positive. So I just want everyone that's going to watch this know that there's power in relationships like this, and dynamic relationships. And I have the opportunity to be a father of someone I consider the nicest person I've ever met, who's my daughter. And I'm just grateful that she's on this planet.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that she is someone that represents me in the next generation. So that's all I want to say, but I love her to death.
Yeah. So the last thing I'd like to address is, since language intrinsically defines how we view our experiences of life, I'd really love to change the term "gave up for adoption," or, as you put it, relinquish your rights as a parent. Because it doesn't allow us to have any space or freedom to have it be anything other than the precipitating the event that we first had, which was very fearful and disempowering. So if you could change that term, is there something that you would use?
It's a very interesting question. If I had to transform the terminology, I would say that I actually never have thought about that. Do you have any suggestions?
I do, actually. One of the things I have been asking people to try on, and actually the term that Sophia's adopted mom and I talked about, that she uses, is the term chose. So you chose adoption for Kiana. Of the many options that you had, what you thought was best for her in that moment is adoption, and that was your choice. And I think that it gives a lot of space for it to be something different and beautiful. So is that something that you would try on?
I definitely am going to wear it like a badge of honor.
Awesome.
I am going to have a conversation immediately, well, maybe when I get home, with my daughter about me choosing to...
and that you've never given her up.
Right.
Because you can't.
Yes.
I mean, so would you say into the camera, I chose adoption for my daughter?
Absolutely. So my name is Jermaine Huell, and I chose adoption for my daughter, my love of my life, Kiana Garcia Huell.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm so personally touched with your courage and honesty. It's incredibly moving to me, and I hope that it also gives someone else the courage as well to own the choices that they've made for the love of their child.
Yes, I agree.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.